we're past the watershed, so I can say this. Show me a single self-respecting man that would like to climb into bed with that woman, ever, who wasn't an incel, who wasn't a cucked little incel. That little woman has been fed, spoon-fed oppression day after day after day after day, starting with the lie of the gender wage gap. And she sat there, and I'm going like, if I met you in a bar and that was like sentence 3, chances of me just walking away are just huge. We need powerful, strong, amazing women who make great points for themselves. We don't need these sort of feminist 4.0. They're pathetic and embarrassing. Who'd want to shag that?
Oh, Laurence. Well, look, she...
Sorry,
right. I'm just gonna...
I'm not laughing. I'm not laughing. I'm keeping a straight face. This is what Dan Wootton should have done. He should have kept a straight face and not laugh. He should have just held it in. I'm not laughing, guys.
Provided a touch of balance from her, because she did actually respond to this earlier today, saying that she regretted her comments, but she didn't apologize. Yes, so there you go. And she's a very beautiful woman, Laurence. Very beautiful woman. There you go. Well, I'm probably not.
He had to say that, innit? He had to say that. He was trying to save his job. He kind of realized I'm probably gonna get fired right after this. So let me try, and save my job. I think that's what was going through his mind at that time. Laurence Fox, who obviously doesn't like feminists and doesn't think that any man would want to sleep with a feminist. I mean, who would want to sleep with people that hate you? Feminists hate men. They are the ones that fought for the right to kill babies in the womb. They are the ones who promote degeneracy, sexual degeneracy, the sexual revolution, and so on and so forth. They are the ones who are against marriage and the formation of the nuclear family. So who would want to sleep with a man-hating organization? I mean, seriously, who would want to do that? All right, and this is basically what he's talking about. He's okay. He insulted her. It's a fact. He did insult her. But then again, I mean, it's an insult. I mean, you can feel offended by it. You can not like it, but it's not the end of the world. I don't think it warrants the level of attack that he's that they're both facing. I think what's his name on Laurence Fox has been fired, if I'm not mistaken, and what's his name, Dan Wootton is on suspension or something like that. So I don't think it warrants that, personally, in my opinion. All right, because he insulted her. All right, who would want to sleep with her? But I don't know if you guys have heard some of the stuff Ava Evans has said, especially on Piers Morgan. We're going to react to that, by the way, because she said some horrible things. I'm not going to lie to you, yeah? She said some horrible things that I personally believe she should have been cancelled for that. But then again, men won't ask for cancellation because men are not wired that way. We don't care. It's fine. She can insult and say horrible things, and it's fine. It's her right to freedom of speech, and she's got every right to express those opinions, however offensive they might be. So we don't call for that when it comes to, Ava expressing her man-hating views and attack on young boys. But let this guy say that a man should not sleep with a feminist, and guess what? It's news. It's mainstream media worthy news, and we all should be paying attention. I mean, come on, man. If this does not tell you that this is feminism, the system is completely controlled by feminism, I don't know what will. All right, so just to give you guys some, this is according to the Mirror. The Mirror says Laurence Fox has issued a lengthy statement where he has apologized for comments he made to Ava Evans on the Dan Wootton Tonight show. The 45-year-old expressed he supported... by the way, he apologized. Wow. The powers that be really are in control. He apologized for saying that a man wouldn't want to sleep with a feminist, with a woman that hates men, because that's what feminist is. That's what feminist is a woman that hates men. So he got into trouble for saying that who would want to sleep with a woman like that. Apart from the personal insult, personal attack, I accept that was wrong of him. Apart from that, I think he was absolutely right. I wouldn't want to sleep with a woman that hates men, that hates me. I mean, I would just feel awkward and weird. Like, oh no, I wouldn't even. No. I think I speak for every man when I say you would want to sleep with a woman that wants to sleep with you. You know, that desires you, not someone who hates you. And that's what feminism ideology does to people. But anyways, the 45-year-old expresses the 45-year-old expressed he supported the 40-year-old journalist and TV presenter when he came under fire for a string of allegations last month and was subsequently suspended from his role at Mail Online. Laurence said he had offered his moral support and encouragement and access to legal services. However, Dan and Lawrence's close friendship recently imploded after Laurence appeared as a guest on the Dan Wootton Tonight Show and made a sexist remark. The disgraced actor faced furious backlash for his derogatory comment aimed at a female journalist during his recent appearance on the news channel. Laurence responded to Dan, throwing him under the bus and seemingly threw shade at the ex-presenter after discovering Dan had apologized following his on-air rant. He apologized, guys. Let's see his apology. Let's see what he said.
Hello there, good evening. We start with breaking news tonight, and the GB News presenter Laurence Fox has apologised for on-air comments which have seen both him and the show's host, Dan Wootton, suspended from the channel. Mr Fox had described the political journalist Ava Evans as a little woman who was pathetic and embarrassing, before indicating that no one would want to go to bed with her. As the media regulator Ofcom launched an investigation, Laurence Fox released a video tonight saying that his comments had not been right.
It's demeaning to her, to Ava, so I'm sorry for demeaning you in that way. However angry I am with you still for doing that. And it demeans me because it's not representative of who I am. And also I'd like to add that I'm not saying any of this stuff because I know I'm going to get sacked tomorrow. I'm saying this stuff to clear my own conscience.
Sky Sajid Chowdhury is at GB News' headquarters in West London. Plenty of developments.
He apologized and... I mean, don't get me wrong. I think it's the right thing to do to apologize. I mean, personally attacking someone, insulting someone is not right. I don't care who you are. I don't care what your beliefs are. To personally attack someone and insult someone is absolutely wrong. But is Ava Evans a feminist? Yes, she is. She's a self-proclaimed feminist. And has she said horrible things about men? Yes, she has. Absolutely. It's up to you guys. You guys can make up your minds. But I think she is a horrible woman in terms of the ideology that she believes in. But you know, let's react to this video. This is she was on Piers Morgan's show, and Ava basically said that men should be frightened. Young men should be frightened. They should be terrified of approaching women.
Of course he will, yeah. All right, Isabel.
But Ava, your point about, you know, if men were that alpha, then they wouldn't be that bothered by this, doesn't really help us when it comes to boys growing up. And that is one of my worries, that for teenage boys now, they are so terrified of the consequences of putting a foot out of line. It's hard enough being a young teenager, working out how things are, working out how to do dating and all of that, without the terror that if you touch in the wrong place at the wrong time, you may find that your whole life is destroyed.
I
and there
like
is
that
far
terror.
too much. Well,
I like that.
As a mother of a teenage boy, I don't like that terror.
That's the most thing I've ever heard.
That is
I think that
awful.
men should be frightened
I think
to
you'd
touch
feel
women in a way
differently
that
if you
they're
were
not comfortable with.
But we're talking about
Yeah, but we're not
teenage
talking
years.
about... We're not talking about...
She realized what she said. She realized that she said something horrible. She realized it. That's why she had to take it to the abuse aspect of it. Yeah, I think she had to take it to that level, to that, because she realized, oh, I really messed up here. I spoke my mind too early. I should have really thought about, what I was saying when I said men should be terrified. That's what she was thinking in her head. So she got caught. They pushed back, and guess what happened right after that? She took it to abuse. No one is talking about abusing women. They're talking about ordinary men, young men, approaching women. And according to her, these ordinary men that she wants to now change it to abusive men, most men are not out here trying to abuse women. They're just trying to approach women. And what that woman was saying was absolutely valid, because she was saying, it worries me that young men are so frightened of even approaching women, because they can say the wrong thing or something. You say the wrong thing, you do the wrong thing, even if it's by mistake, guess what? That's it. Your life is over. And that's what the other woman was talking about. And guess what she did? They should be terrified. According to her, they should be terrified. These young men should be terrified. She likes that terror in men. That's what she was talking about. And when they pushed back, she checked herself and she thought, oh my days, I just made a mistake. I shouldn't have said that. You know what? Let me switch it up to abusive men. Most men are not abusive. Most men are not out here trying to hurt women. Most men are just trying to approach women. Okay, but feminism has made it almost impossible for men to do that.
Yeah, but it's an interesting thing there, you see. I would say that attitude actually is part of the problem too. That's to me toxic femininity. That is saying you should all be terrified.
Femininity is not toxic. That is toxic feminism. That's what that is. All right? That is toxic feminism. Femininity is beautiful. It's wonderful. Masculinity is beautiful. It's wonderful. That is toxic feminism. And that's the religion of the Western world. All right? This is what everyone is consciously or subconsciously following. So she realized what she did. She realized she said something wrong, and she tried to switch it to abusive men. And they did the right thing by checking on her, but by checking on that. But hold on a second. Let's see, what else she has to say in regards to men. And guys, I'm just gonna show you 2 simple videos just to highlight what kind of person this woman actually is. But she said, she said way worse things than this. But yeah, let's look at this one here.
I think he has an extraordinary influence, for better or worse, right? And
definitely for worse.
But I do think he's filling a void.
Yeah.
These young men don't feel they have role models like that anywhere else to go to.
Yeah.
Why are you laughing?
Because it's just silly, isn't it? Because it's not.
Why?
Well, it's not a role model. It's
Actually, it is.
Actually, a lot of men hate women, and I think that he appeals to that subset.
Some men hate women.
Some men hate women.
You can't make this shit up. A lot of men hate women. Well, she hates men. She hates men. So what was Laurence Fox so wrong about? A lot of men hate women. And then it's like someone always has to correct her in order for her to kind of, come back to reality again. A lot of men hate women. Most men love women. Most men are out here trying to work for women, trying to provide for women and protect women. This is all we've been doing since the beginning of human existence. And here comes this feminist talking about that a lot of men, every time she speaks, it's always against men. She hates men. So no wonder why someone like Laurence Fox wouldn't, like the type of woman that she is. And yes, he insulted her, but he highlighted the very important fact. Men should not be dating feminists because feminists hate men. I think it's wrong for any man to be with a woman that hates them. Calvin Robinson has been also fired for basically defending free speech.
I wish I knew, Mark. The reasons they're giving me are gross misconduct for my tweets. But my tweets were supportive of my colleagues and supportive of the station and the project or the mission that the station is supposed to be on. So I'm honestly at a loss to answer that question.
I mean, in truth, it's because you broadly supported the presenters who were responsible for that misogynistic diatribe about that female journalist.
If that doesn't tell you that there's no such thing anymore as free thought or the ability to think freely, they are literally trying to police thought. So what? He agreed with what they said. Why is that such a big issue? Why is he not allowed to agree with them? He might just have a different opinion from yours. He might just see things differently from yours. And if you just take up the time and try to understand what he's saying, where he's coming from, your mind might just change, you know?
Well, it's nothing to do with the diatribe, as you call it. What happened in that conversation was that Laurence Fox was trying to be funny. It was inappropriate for television, and he should have been reprimanded for it, and he apologized for it and recognized that, quite rightly so. However, Dan Wootton was the host of the show, didn't need to be suspended. I suspect he's going to be fired early next week. I supported Dan as a colleague of his, and I was on the show at the time. And none of that has anything to do with what Laurence was saying about Ava, despite the fact that the wider conversation here was actually about men's mental health, actually. This is why the topic was on air, because she was attacking men's mental health. And look what's happened.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the first time she's attacked men. She just loves to attack men because that's what feminism does. Feminism influences women to attack men. But it's funny. She can attack men all she wants. She can insult men. She can do whatever she wants. She can say whatever she wants about men. But let someone try to be funny and insult her one little bit. Guess what? That's it. His life is over. I mean, if that doesn't tell there's an agenda, I don't know what will. All right, let's move on from here. Hold on, what else is he?
I want to come on to that point in just a second, Calvin. But you say that he was trying to be funny, and you've said GB News should be a chance to have conversations you can't have on other channels. So that includes a conversation about a female journalist that included the sentiment, if not the exact words. Who would want to sleep with that? And described her as a little woman. I mean, are those the sort of conversations that you want to have or be had on GB News?
No, I already said that. I don't know why you want to make it about that. This is the problem. You want to make it all about what Laurence said to Ava. It's nothing to do with that. There's a wider conversation to be had here. I don't think that conversation was appropriate. I wouldn't have had that conversation. But this is his style, and they knew that when they hired him. So they knew exactly what they were getting. So which brings the question, why did they fire him and say they're a station for free speech when it's something that he said that they fired him for? Also,
they're obviously not a station for free speech, and they fired him because he exercised free speech, and then and this happened to him. I mean, they're obviously not a station for free speech. I mean, come on, man. Let's just be realistic here. All right. Okay. Let's react to a little bit more from Calvin Robinson and call it a day. I think we all know what's going on here. Hold on.
GB News. That's according to one of its former presenters. Well, there's been civil war at GB News. That's according to one of its former presenters, Calvin Robinson, who was yesterday fired for defending colleagues Laurence Fox and Dan Wootton. That was after Laurence Fox made derogatory remarks about a young female journalist on Dan Wootton's show. Well, both Dan Wootton remained suspended, and Laurence Fox was also, I think, removed from his show yesterday as well. Delighted to say that Calvin Robinson, though, joins me in the studio right now. Good afternoon to you.
Hi, Julia. How are you?
I'm very well indeed. Probably better than you right now in terms of where you are.
I'm good.
I want to talk about this. I'm not a fan of people attacking other broadcasters. I've never understood why people feel the need to do that. Apart from the BBC, because I have to pay for it. People have a choice whether they watch our channel, your channel, or any other, or old channel, or any channel. I want to talk about, though, the issue of free speech more generally. There's been a big row about what Laurence Fox said on the show about the female journalist Ava Evans, whether or not he would or would not go to bed with her. I thought outrageous and irrelevant, and told him so myself in uncertain terms, privately and publicly.
Yeah, he insulted her. Was he wrong for that? Absolutely, he was wrong for insulting her. All right, but then again, that's it. It's just an insult. He wouldn't go to bed with her. What's the issue? Get over it. All right, it was a simple insult. It's nowhere near the outrageous things that she has said about men, and it comes from her feminist ideology. Like, come on.
We saw immediately demands for them to be, for Laurence Fox and Dan Wootton to be sacked.
Yeah.
Immediately demands for GB News to be taken off air.
Yeah.
What did you make of that immediate reaction to that affair?
That was very telling. When we've got other broadcasters saying, close the whole thing down, GB News should not exist in the first place. Broadcasters and journalists should be saying, we need a difference of opinion, we need a broad spectrum of views, this is a good thing. And we can say that whilst also saying that what Laurence said was wrong. I told him to his face as well, what you said was wrong, you didn't need to say that. She's a known misandrist, you could have defeated her argument.
She's a known misandrist. And look what he said. You could have defeated her argument. You didn't have to insult her. Absolutely, he's 100% right. But guess what? GB News promotes itself as free speech. Yeah, as a platform where free speech exists. Obviously, that's obviously not the case. That's obviously not the case. Yeah, but anyways, it promotes itself as this platform for free speech. But as we can see, it's the powers that be that control it. There's no such thing as a platform with free speech apart from this one.
It's about men's mental health, an important issue. Get that out there. Don't stoop to her level with ad hominems. That defeats your whole purpose.
Yes, argue with what she had to say, which definitely should have been argued with, rather than whether or not her attractiveness or sexual attractiveness was utterly irrelevant.
But you can hold both opinions at the same time. You can think what he said was wrong, but also GB News needs to exist because we need a different perspective.
And in terms of the demands, again, like, the retro...
All right, there you go, guys. GB News needs to exist because we need a different perspective. We obviously yes, we need a different perspective. We need people that think differently and people that are able to express themselves in any way, shape, or form, as long as they're not inciting hatred. But obviously, we can't have it. And we can't have it because the powers that be won't allow us to have it. So yes, this is a war on free speech. It goes against free speech. A feminist can come on and insult literally every man on earth and demonize them and call every man to and call every man abusive. But guess what? Let you say a joke or insult them in any way, shape, or form, guess what happens? You get cancelled. So yeah, it is a feminist culture. It is a feminist system that's ruling over us. And I think we've got the evidence. I think the evidence is quite clear. If you guys don't know it by now, hopefully this should have this reaction here should open your mind to it. But guys, I'll leave you with it. Don't forget to comment, subscribe, and yeah, follow us on all the socials, guys. We're there. Please join the conversation. Anyone that disagrees with me and wants to do a reaction, wants to debate with me in regards to any of these issues, please feel free, email us. I'm happy to have that conversation with you guys. All right, till next time, peace. The Solution Podcast, we're here.